Ladies and gentlemen, the journey for focus, clarity, and mental mastery is about to begin. Live from WSIC Studios on the shores of Lake Norman, the show that gives you the tools to think sharper, sleep deeper, manage stress, and unlock your full mental potential. This is Your Brain Matters. And now, with over 30 years of brain science, more than 70,000 brain analyses, bringing neuroscience to everyday life, here's your host, Dr. Tim Royer.
Welcome, everybody, to Your Brain Matters. And you know what? Your brain does matter. It matters to you. It matters to everybody in your circle. It matters to your kids, your spouse, your significant other, your boss, everybody. Your brain matters, and how we take care of that is so important. I am so excited. I got my really close friend and client, I guess we'd say that, Jeff Salzenstein here with us. Did I say the last name right?
No.
How do I say it, Jeff? Salzenstein. Come on, Doc. Jeff, this is like our most famous person across the desk from us. Jeff, tell us a little bit about your story. It's so good to have you here with us.
Well, first off, I'll start by thanking you for having me here.
Yes.
In the home office. But I like to say that you said famous. I think I'm almost famous.
Almost famous? Oh, yeah. Come on.
Really? When you do some of the things that I did, I played pro tennis for many years and got to a really high level. We can talk about that. But I say almost famous because I'm not Roger Federer. I'm not Novak Djokovic. I'm not Rafa Nadal. But I did cross paths with him while I was playing on the pro tour.
So cool.
Mix.
Yeah.
I just wasn't, a Wimbledon champion, but in the mix, and had a really interesting career. And the way that we met was from a mutual friend. And that mutual friend we were sitting down for coffee in Denver, and he's like, you got to meet Doc. I was like, okay, because I'd been down the rabbit hole of neuroscience and HRB and how the brain works and how the body works and the nervous system. And so I'd studying this stuff for years.
Yeah.
But he's like, you got to meet Doc. And so,
was that Ted?
That was Ted.
Oh, that's funny.
So
wow, I forgot about that.
We connected and we started talking and realized there was some synergy there, and you've been supporting me in the last couple of years. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have our four segments here that we're going to dig into some different things as we go. But in this first portion, just for the audience, like, we all have a story, right? And we all have multiple stories, But I think a lot of people are super interested in sports, and so they want to hear the sports story. So let's start with that. Can you kind of give us this rundown from, when you started playing tennis? Just give us the 5-minute on everything, Jeff, and tennis.
5, or you want me? Okay, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, just give me 5, and we're going to dig a little bit deeper as we go. But just kind of give the audience and everybody that kind of like feel of what is your life been in this sport.
Okay, well, let's start in the middle of the story.
Okay, let's do that.
I like to start.
Okay.
So let me set the stage.
Okay.
It's my first year on the pro tennis tour.
You're already on the pro tour.
You can go back, but we're going to start here.
You're on the pro tour. Okay, here we go.
My first year on the pro tennis tour, and it's a Friday night. It's Labor Day weekend.
Oh, we're about to be at the U.S. Open.
It's a second round U.S. Open match against the number 2 player in the world.
No way.
There's 24,000 people inside Arthur Ashe Stadium. There's millions on TV. And my opponent is Michael Chang.
Oh my God.
He's the most consistent and mentally tough player on the planet.
Plus he's got the Chang gang.
He's got it all. Okay. In my book, he's got it all. It's my first year on the tour. I'm thrust on the stage, and commentating the match is the bad boy of tennis, the guy who throws temper tantrums and swears on the court. Even if you don't follow tennis, you might know who this guy is. It's John McEnroe.
Yeah.
And John McEnroe is commentating the match. I mean, this is my big moment.
Big time. You're here. This is crazy.
And it really sets the stage for like what I do now with my speaking and my coaching. I mean, the pressure of the moment was so very real. The nerves were high. There was anxiety, nervous energy. I mean, you were on the big stage.
Big time.
And I get it to 2 games all in the first set. So I hold twice. I get to 2 all. And at that moment, you're going to appreciate this. I take a deep breath.
Okay.
Like a blowfish.
Yes.
All right. Finally, I took a deep breath 20 minutes into the match.
You're just going on adrenaline.
I wasn't breathing before, and I was so nervous, and somehow I get it too all. I take a deep breath, and for the next 15 minutes, I'm playing the best tennis of my life. I found my zone, and I was kicking Michael Chang's ass. If you're watching the match, you're saying this young American is the number 2 player in the world. That's how well I was playing.
Wow.
So I get it to 5-4, 1 point away from winning the first set. I hit a wide slice serve. I'm a lefty. I come to the net. I hit a backhand volley to the open court. Chang is one of the fastest players.
Quick.
He couldn't get it. The crowd erupts. I win the first set.
No way.
Standing up and pointing at me like, where did this guy come from?
I got to get some of this.
The TV,
Wow, this is awesome.
TV camera pans on me, and I have this sly smile on my face as I'm looking at my box. And that's when the match ended.
Really? What happened?
There was a dominant thought in my head. It was running through my head like a obsessed OCD person with the same thought.
Yeah.
Jeff, thank God you didn't embarrass yourself tonight.
Really?
So my focus was whatever you do tonight in front of these millions of people, do not lose 6-1, 6-1, 6-1.
Yeah.
Embarrass yourself.
Yeah.
So as soon as I won the first set and I smiled, that was it. That was my set point. That was my belief. That was my goal. The pressure of the moment was too much to handle. I didn't believe I could beat Michael Chang, and I lost the next 3 sets and the match. But the good news is that my pro career was taking off like a rocket ship. The next day, I'm signing with the top agent in tennis. He was Pete Sampras's agent at
Wow.
Midtown Manhattan hotel room, and they got the contract out. And like, this guy is going to be the next greatest one of the next young American.
Yeah.
Stage.
Wow.
Big stage. And so life was like, I'm taking off like a rocket ship. And I'm dreaming of like next year, hey, I'm going to go deep in the US Open. Heck, maybe we could just dream of winning it. That did not happen. Over the next 2 years, I suffered 2 career-threatening injuries. So first to the ankle, then to the knee. And I went on this roller coaster journey for the next 2 years to try to solve my physical health. And in the process of that, that's when I started diving in at 24 years old. How do I rebuild my body holistically? How do I learn about the mental game? How do I learn about the emotional part, the spiritual part? And I was starting this process at 24 years old, going down every rabbit hole I could before the internet was big, before Google was big, before we had access. I was uncovering the Dr. Royers of the world almost 30 years ago. And that's how my journey began into holistic health and performance.
Wow. That may have been the most amazing first segment we've had on this show.
Keynote speaker. So
it's awesome.
Take it right into the story. We can go back to when I was 12 years old and 15 later, but I needed to take you to the US Open.
I love it. So when we come back, we're going to dig deeper. But I don't know if we can get any better than what we just had. But Jeff,
I got stories.
We got stories. Okay. So great having you here. Remember, everybody, your brain matters. And Jeff just told us why his brain matters. So we'll see you in the next segment. Hey guys, welcome back to Your Brain Matters. Unbelievable first segment with Jeff Salzenstein.
Yeah, Salzenstein.
I always say Salzenstein. It's the Southern. Don't you think it's the Southern, the North Carolina? Salzenstein, right? I got to get it right.
By the 4th segment, it's either going to be Salzy Steakburg sandwich or it's going to be Salzenstein. Because I have a story about that with the umpires mispronouncing my name, my entire code.
Oh, that is too funny. Yes. So it's so great to have Jeff, and not just have somebody on the show, but Jeff is one of these people that he just immerses himself into trying to get the best version of himself. I mean, we know for you to be at the level that you were in tennis, that you had to commit to that. But I can speak from somebody who knows Jeff after tennis that in his personal life, in his training and what he's trying to do to enhance his brain and make his brain matter in the world around him, that this is the real deal. So it's so exciting to have you on the show. Let's kind of give me a little synopsis of, I mean, that was an amazing, amazing story. looking back now,
Yeah.
how did your brain matter in that situation versus physically or the crowd? There's a lot of different variables in here.
Sure.
What do you think about if we were to isolate to your brain, what was going on in your brain at that moment and how that actually mattered in relation to your performance?
Sure, you can put the science to this, but what I recall from that experience, I had a really interesting upbringing. I came from Colorado. I'm going to go we're pretty quick here, but grew up in Colorado. It's not a tennis state.
Yeah.
I was able to figure out a way to get to Stanford. I transformed my serve at Stanford. And then I get on the pro tour, and within a year, I'm playing Michael Chang at the U.S. Open.
That was in a year.
That's a year playing on the pro tour. Well, I went from 800 in the world to 150 in about 8 months. So I was shooting up like this.
Yeah.
But again, I came from Colorado. It's Tennessee.
No.
So what I want to connect the brain there is that if you grow up in Colorado and you're not groomed to be a pro tennis player, and then you step onto a stage like against Michael Chang, number 2 in the world, you're going to have some identity or some belief, and your brain is going to see and perceive things a certain way. And I really believe that that little boy in me, or that part of my brain that saw myself as like below a number 2 player in the world, is what limited my performance at that moment. Because for those 15 minutes, I was literally better than Michael Chang when I won that first set. I was a better tennis player. So if I can do it for 20 minutes, why wouldn't I be able to do it for 3 hours? I just couldn't sustain it because of the belief. And what I remember about that experience is I got a wild card in the U.S. Open that year, and I won my first round on a Tuesday afternoon. I beat a guy, Michael Tillström from Sweden. He was about 6th in the world.
Yeah.
Great player, won a tough 4-setter. And I remember going to the locker room, and my coach at the time, he goes, "You know what's going to happen next?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "You're probably going to play Chang on Arthur Ashe on Friday."
Oh my gosh.
Look at him, and I'm thinking, on one hand, I'm like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
On the other hand, I'm scared to death. I'm like, oh my God. So I had 3 days from Tuesday to Friday to think about that match. I remember driving that day, how my brain works. That day, I warmed up 3 times for that night match against Chang, morning, middle of the day, and right before the match, because the thought was, what if I forget how to hit the ball? Wow. I've been playing tennis since I was 4 years old. There was this rumination, and there was just overthinking. I remember feeling this anxious, nervous energy driving in the town car over to the Flushing.
Yeah.
Like just this loops going on and all these ping-ponging thoughts. And at the time, this is 1997, so we don't have, sports psychology is not like a cool thing to do. But I think about if I had a doc in my corner, if we were assessing my brain back then, if we were working with my mind and my emotions and my breath, then it would have been a much different experience instead of kind of that anxious, nervous, don't embarrass yourself experience. And so I really didn't have the tools or the understanding of what was going on back then. And I wasn't in an environment where I was being taught that.
What would you say, like, what you're doing, what you know now, and what you do now? We're back in the town car going to Flushing Meadow, for the match. What do you think you would do? What would you do differently in that situation?
Well, 100%, I would have had someone like you in my corner training my brain in advance of all of this.
Gotcha.
Hopefully, I would have gone to Stanford, and you would be working with the program. I would have heard of you, and we would have the data to show what's going on. It would just be much more mindful, diligent, scientific, get the data around what's going on, and then have a plan. When that Tuesday, when I win that first round, from Tuesday to Friday, give me a structure of how I'm going to use my brain, how I'm going to use my body, how I'm going to process the mental and emotional side of things. Because, the thought loops come in of like, is my second serve good enough? And like, is my backhand good enough? And am I going to embarrass myself? And like, what do I do with all of that? And how do I train that up? And so I certainly wasn't practicing the breath back then. What was interesting is that when I had all those injuries and I was basically on the shelf for 2 years, that's when I started digging into this.
Yeah.
And that's when I started learning about the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, the physical. And I studied all the best athletes, and I started finding started reading the books and finding the sports psychology and just finding all of these things. And it led me on this journey to ultimately make a comeback to the tour when I was 26. And I had my best results at 30 when I broke the top 100 in the world for the first time. So it took me 7 years and 2 careers to finally break the top 100. But when I look back on it, I still wasn't able to kind of track my progress or track what was going on, which is what we do now. And it's a beautiful thing for me to be able to see how my brain is working 30 years later.
Yeah.
So I wish I would have had more of this back then.
Yeah, I remember when we first met and I looked at his brain and I'm like, okay, so this guy, I don't know Jeff's whole story, but, you know, was a future pro tennis player and all that, you know, and so I'm thinking, well, how good is this guy? And I can remember watching when we do the EEG and we look at the brainwaves, there's these set of brainwaves that are called high beta waves, and they have to do with stress and how the brain manages stress. And there were a couple areas that were off, but I remember seeing this one pop up and I'm like, there it is. There's the real deal brainwave. And what it does is it has this ability to, under pressure, perform very well. But it's very interesting. Next to it is all this creativity brainwave. And I think about an athlete that's really excellent, iconic. They're not just doing the motions, right? They have the capability, but then they're able to adapt creatively in the moment. When you're playing, do you ever notice that, like when you're really in the zone, that it's not just the technique of your backhand or your forehand, but there's something else that's flowing out of you? What's that like when that's happening?
Yes. So now you bring up an incredible question that you probably could, again, give your insights on. I'm left-handed.
Yes. Okay.
Lefties are typically, if I'm going to put us in a box, we are the creative types.
Yes. True. All these presidents and yeah.
The thing, I was raised in a right-hand person's world.
Yeah.
My mother is true. My mother is incredible, and she's very structured. I would say more on the analytical type. And so I grew up and then also the way to control situations is to see patterns and to find a formula. So it was never natural for me to be creative, and it also wasn't necessarily encouraged.
Right.
It was more just like, do this, like 2 + 2 = 4. And that's how you do it. And so that range of creativity was not developed at a young age.
Right.
Even though as a left-hander, that actually
it has to be.
Should have been my superpower. When I got later in my career and I was struggling to make the breakthroughs, I got to about 180 in the world, 150 in the world. I'm just battling to like break this top.
Yeah. Wow.
All I want to do, that set point, I came across a coach named Joseph O'Dwyer from Dublin, Ireland, born on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, wow.
And this guy was the most creative, interesting human I ever met.
Interesting.
And Joseph, first time I ever met him, he's playing U2 music on the court. He's blaring a boombox on the court. He comes over to the court. He's 6'4" and he's this gangly Irish dude. And he's got this sword in one hand and a racket in the other. Who's got a sword on a tennis?
Where did he get a sword?
He sticks it into the clay court and yells in Gaelic like some William Wallace. And I'm like, who is this guy? And this began this beautiful coach-player relationship where I'm like analytical. Everything has to be in the box.
Interesting.
Kind of like, no, you play the game with feel and play with your hand more and be an artist and visualize and see the thing. And he opened up a whole new world that allowed me to break the top 100. I needed a guy like Joseph to infuse that creativity into me because my default was to be more analytical.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? And I think that goes beyond just in your game, but in life, right? In relationships, in work, in, working with family, whatever you're doing, it's not just A + B = C all the time. There has to be that ability to pivot, to be able to be in the moment. And I can remember when I saw your brain for the first time, I saw that one area of your brain that was just dialed into this like potential. Are you an artist Well, maybe not in the more formal sense of like you can go paint like Monet. No, you're an artist in a different way. And I think inside is a great quote by this child developmental psychologist who said, every child, every human is born. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was Picasso. Every child is born an artist. And what happens is we take the artist out of them. So, yeah, when we come back, you got me talking. I forgot about what time we're. We'll talk more about this in the next. Let's do it. Okay, everybody, welcome back. What a phenomenal episode. Thanks to Jeff, I was able to finish on time. I was so engaged in our conversation that I wasn't watching the clock. But so we've talked about tennis. We've talked about the journey with the brain. What's going on now? Like, where are you now? What is I know you're a driven mission guy. You're not just, hey, I'm just floating around.
Yeah.
No, you're all about like getting stuff done, whether it's on the court or whether it's someplace else.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be having your focus on something. And tell me a little bit about the journey to get to that and all that.
Sure. Well, it's interesting because I played pro tennis for on and off for 11 years. I was probably injured. If you added up all the time, I was probably injured 4 out of those 11. So injuries were a big challenge for me on the pro tour. And, you know, I break the top 100 in the world at the age of 30. And ironically enough, I win this challenger event, which is equivalent to, one level below PGA, minor league AAA baseball. I won this event in León, Mexico. I break the top 100 in the world.
Wow.
I've got plantar fasciitis in both feet, and I'm flying to Bermuda alone for the next tournament. Like, there was no celebration of finally breaking the top.
Wow.
This paradox of you reach this dream.
Interesting.
And then you're doing it alone and you're injured. And it got me into Wimbledon and the French Open that year. I was injured, so I couldn't capitalize in that moment. My body wasn't supporting me. And I've learned since that, man, the feet are your foundation. I mean, the brain is so important. If we look at the body, we don't train the feet enough and we don't train the fascia enough. And so I had this great accomplishment. And then for the next 3 years, I'm in and out of some injuries. My ranking goes back down. I'm probably 250 in the world. And I am like struggling. I am burned out. I mean, I've been playing this game for my whole life. It's not working out quite the way I wanted to. Finally, I just don't even want to get on planes anymore to travel to go play these tournaments.
Wow.
Which is a new experience, because before it was like, let's go and let's
see the world. Yeah. And all.
And so I remember I played a couple of tournaments, 2007. And for a month, I cried 3 different times over the course of the month, knowing that my pro career was over.
Really?
Like, I was crying at tournaments or driving to tournaments because I had so much emotion around this sport that I was connected to, and I knew it was coming to an end. I didn't know how to quit. I didn't know what to do. Like, what's your next job? You're 33 years old. You've never had a real job. I went to Stanford, but all my buddies had real jobs, and I'm lost, and I'm crying because my dad's going to see me for the last time. He was my first coach on a tennis court. My coach who helped me break the top 100 is going to see me at a tournament. I'm not telling anyone this, but I know something's happening. Okay. And I wake up one morning in Houston. I was going to play a tournament there, and I was dizzy. I woke up dizzy, like my head was on the clouds, and I went to do all the tests, and no one could figure out what was wrong with me. And what I have connected to that dizziness was that my head and my heart were misaligned. Mm-hmm. My head was saying, push harder, go more. And my heart was like, dude, you're done.
Bro.
Like, wow. Yeah. You're not listening. So we're going to manifest a physical deficit so you can't even play. So I'm on the shelf for like 8 months. I'm waking up in the morning feeling lightheaded. I can't go play. I'm doing a little bit of coaching. And I go to visit my Florida family. My father was my first coach, my stepmother, and my 3 younger siblings. And I always enjoyed going to see them, and they're much younger. The kids are much younger than me.
Yeah.
It's like I'm the big brother. And I'm especially excited to see my little bro, Eric. Eric's 17 years younger. We have a very unique bond. I mean, I have a half sister that's turned 27 yesterday. So
And you're what, 29?
Yeah, I'm 29. 29 right here. And so I'm just so excited to see him. He's a big basketball player. We love basketball.
Yeah.
He looks up to me as a pro tennis player. And I'm more than just a brother. I'm a father figure. I'm a coach. I'm a mentor. I'm his godfather. And I walked into his room that morning. He's a high school senior at the time.
Senior, okay.
High school senior. I'm 34. He's 17. And he's sprawled out on the floor. He's passed out.
No way.
There's foam coming out of his mouth.
What?
He's overdosing from drugs. I walk in and I see this in the morning, December 30th, 2007. And that moment, I just kicked it into gear, just that focus of, you got to get shit done. And so I pick him up, put him in the car, take him to the hospital. They pump his stomach. And that was when I saw that, I was like, ooh, Houston, we have a real, I went into like problem solving mode. And within 6 days, I borrowed $35,000 that I didn't have, half from a family member, half from a wealthy friend. And I found a rehab facility for my brother. And that was when my pro tennis career ended, because I was like, well, I got to pay these loans back on the rehab. And life just was, that's it. That's what we're doing. Well, so that's how I got into coaching, was this traumatic event of seeing my brother on the floor and knowing I had to do something like this. It was like so deep in my heart, like this is the calling, like, oh yeah, your pro tennis career is over. Like you got to help this kid. And so that began this really interesting journey into coaching, where I realized in the first month of coaching tennis, I was like, oh my gosh, I love coaching more than I love playing pro. Wow. And I was like, my brother brought me to that. And so my brother and I, we went on this really crazy journey. He went into rehab, came to live with me in Colorado. I moved back to Denver where I grew up. And we just, these two brothers were going to like do this healing journey together. That was the story in my head.
Right.
But he really struggled with the addiction, and he started using again and went to Florida, and big challenges back in Florida with his drug use, and became drug dealing, and it landed him in prison. So he committed 2 felonies and in a maximum security prison in outside of Tallahassee, Florida. We were not speaking. So we went from being basically like super close brothers, and I'm like, oh my goodness, to that boundary of like, if you're not going to work it, I'm just not going to be involved.
Right.
And it was really hard. It was really, really hard.
Brutal.
There was one day that he called me 2 years into prison. He had a 4-year sentence, and he was supposed to he could have gotten life in prison, and they gave him 4 years. So like, that's what we were looking at as a family. Like, he's gone. 4 years, halfway in, he calls me and he goes, Jeff, I don't know who else to talk to. You're the guy, because I want to change, but I don't know how to do it. I don't even know where to start. I said, listen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get on a call every single week. You're going to talk to me about your challenges. You're going to tell me about your progress. You're going to read these books that I'm going to send you. You're going to journal. You're going to do all the things. And we're going to turn this around. And it's going to happen fast if you follow the program.
Right.
And he did. He decided to make a comeback. He started to restore his body. He started to rewire his mind, reconnect to his heart. He got deep into his spiritual journey. And he completely transformed his body, his mind, and his emotions and spirit in prison. I mean, he started cleaning the toilets at 5 a.m. every morning to be of service to the inmates. And I knew he was serious about transformation because he never cleaned the toilets. He also just developed a hidden talent for public speaking. So he realized, he went to this Gavel Club in the prison and started reading keynote speeches, and was like the best one. And so I'm watching this transformation going, this is the most amazing thing.
It has to be.
He spent 52 days in solitary confinement because of a gang fight. And when he got out of solitary confinement is when he called me. And so now he's transforming in prison. He's helping the other inmates. I mean, he is on fire, and he gets out. He gets out of prison, and we are like 2 peas in a pod. I'm getting him into all these rooms with business coaches and marketing people.
Oh, so cool.
And he gets on stages, and he won this speaking contest.
No way.
600 contestants, first place.
Unbelievable.
On the stage, and he's sharing his message of how he went from prison to purpose, prison to prosperity. And I'm witnessing this as his corner man going, he's the next Tony Robbins. Like, he's literally going to change the world, this guy. He is an absolute powerhouse, the charisma, the charm. And it was one of the most beautiful seasons of my life to experience that. The dark side of it is that a lot of the pressure got to him. You know, we didn't get a chance to look at his brain. Yeah. And a lot of the challenges came up for him, and that led him back into drug use again, and into addiction. So all of that work, it was so painful to watch that. And, it's a big reason I do what I do today, but is watching him transform, and then also watching him struggle with addiction.
And how you were a part of that. Wow. That is just an incredible story, and your involvement in that. So I can't wait to hear more about it when we come back. Thanks, Jeff. Hey, it's great to have you guys back. Man, if you've been listening, this is an incredible story, and it's so great to have Jeff with us. I'm not going to do the last name again, Jeff. I'm sorry. Yes, I am. I got to try it. Salzenstein.
Let's go.
Yes, let's go. Learn.
Segment.
Yes, at 60. I got it right. I got it right. Wow, the story of Jeff and what brings him here is way bigger than tennis. And we've heard that as we talked last segment about him and his brother, and Jeff's involvement in helping his brother get back to get his feet on the ground. And when we left off, we found out that your brother had kind of digressed some more. And so we're kind of going through this cycle of up and down, and you've left your tennis career. You're in the middle of this. You're just trying to just keep him going. So can you pick up where we left off and kind of tell us more, tell the audience?
Yeah, so he wins this speaking contest, and one point that I left out is when you win first prize with 600 contestants in this contest, you get your own TEDx talk. And so my brother is on this TEDx stage 3 years after getting out of prison. And so when people tell me they can't do something, I'm like, wait a minute, I witnessed the most incredible transformation ever, like for that period of time. Unbelievable. And the pressure, the stress, the inability to regulate emotions, the trauma that he experienced in prison, maybe some unresolved childhood stuff that was bugging him, and him using drugs for many years, he had that propensity. And so when he used that first time, when he got out a couple years into this, when he was starting to get some money and some success, I'm sure the story in his head was like, I'm good. I can handle it now. I've rehabilitated. He didn't have that approach of like, I can't even touch this stuff.
Right.
He probably had the approach of like, I'm different than everyone else. And that's a dangerous slope. And so as soon as he started using, it was just this really, really painful, hard path and journey to watch. And
you were right there.
I was there on multiple occasions where I would pop in to try to save the day. But then there were times there was so much frustration that I was like, I just can't, energetically can't do it anymore. And it got really bad for a stretch. And then I got the phone call on January in 2023 from my stepmother, and she was crying on the other end, frantically that he had passed away.
Oh my God.
So we lost him to a fentanyl overdose. And what's interesting about the timing of it is 4 months before he passed, I made the decision that I was going to be a keynote speaker. So I had moved from pro tennis to tennis coaching to executive coaching. I was working with leaders, founders, and athletes, and still work with clients now. But then I was like, you know what? I have a mission. I have a message that I want to share that I think could really help people. And I got an opportunity in a room with a bunch of CEOs, and it worked out really well. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go down this path. So I have applied everything I learned as a pro tennis player, as a coach, to the business of keynote speaking. You learn all of it, all of the nuance, all the ways to speak and communicate and the business side of things. And 4 months before he passed away is when I made that decision. When he passed, something really just energetically came to me of like, we talked about being on stages together. He was the black sheep of the family. I'm the one, Mr. All-American, went to Stanford, blah, squeaky clean, whatever. we talked about being on stages and just like these two brothers, like coordinating this story together. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to carry this torch. I'm supposed to carry his legacy on in a positive way and share his story so that other people can hear it. We all know, everyone knows someone that struggles with mental health or addiction.
Yeah.
And so if I can share my story of the highs and lows of pro tennis and of being a pro athlete, and the highs and lows of walking alongside my brother who's going to change the world and then fell, if I can be a beacon of light, if we can create that legacy or that impact, then that's what I'm going to do. So I get on stages now and I work with organizations and I work with associations and teams, and I share the story. I mean, there's more thought leadership behind it, but it is a powerful part of my life, and it's opening up some vulnerability that allows other people to say, you know what, I got to help this person, or maybe I got to help myself. And I'm willing to create some meaningful change in my sphere of influence. Because, if I can help one person feel better or change their lives or get them the right resource, then I know I'm making a difference.
Yeah, which I know you're doing by all the speaking and then the different people that I've interacted with that are working with you. So as you look at this, you're on this journey. This is not an easy journey to get up in front of people and motivate them and educate them and plus the travel and all that kind of stuff. What have you learned along the way as you're in this new role? This role is probably what, 4 years? 4 years?
And the speaking side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what have you learned about this experience? Try to educate people, trying to bring them online.
What's fascinating about this is I feel like I've done this before because, as a pro tennis player, you're getting on planes, you're traveling, you're practicing skills. And so I can really connect all the years and all the reps to how I can do what I'm doing now with the speaking. What's different is that in pro tennis, you go play a match and you win and, you feel good about yourself. And if you lose, you feel really bad. In this one, even if you don't feel like you gave the best keynote, you still get feedback from the audience in messages that you impacted in.
That's so cool.
So now it's like this second season of my life. I actually get to travel and share a message that helps people. Whereas in pro tennis, who am I helping? It's just about me and my ranking and what I do. And so there's a lot more fulfillment and purpose, obviously doing it because of the deeper things that we've talked about, that has a lot of meaning behind it as well. And I've learned that it's hard. Whenever you're an entrepreneur, you try to do something new and it's like a startup, you're going to go through it. Mm-hmm. And I tend to put myself through it because I did it as a pro tennis player and I did it with an online tennis instruction business that I created. Being an entrepreneur is hard and it teaches you life skills, performance skills, how to be on your A game. You got to get everything working. And if it's not, it's going to show up in some way. And so I've learned that it's really hard. And I've also developed the muscle and the resilience to keep bouncing back over and over again and focus on the process and focusing on getting better. My framework is called Own Your Zone.
Okay. Yep.
And it's this idea of there's a couple thoughts in it. It's around performing at your best in the moments that count. And any moment can count. It could be a small moment with your husband or wife or your partner where you're present with them.
Yeah.
Or with your children. Another moment could be getting on a big stage or a big meeting that you have to close the deal. So the stakes can be high or the stakes can be smaller, but there's still moments that are important.
Yeah.
And it's how do we own our zone? Take ownership over our attitude, our energy, I love us. And we show up and find that zone, and everyone can find their own zone. Someone, maybe they need to meditate 20 minutes a day. Someone maybe wants to, they like to go for a run or they eat healthy or whatever the thing is. You get to decide to perform at your highest level and be at your best. You decide what your zone is, and that ownership is so important. And I break it up into 3 zones. We've got restoring the body, rewiring the mind, and reconnecting the heart. So it touches on the physical, the mental, and the emotional. And someone said in a workshop recently, well, you don't really touch on the spiritual part. And I'm like, not so fast.
Yes.
If you love yourself enough to focus on restoring your body, rewiring the mind, and reconnect the heart, I think that's a very spiritual pursuit.
Very spiritual.
Regardless of what you believe in, religious beliefs, you are taking care of yourself because you love yourself enough and you want to help others too. And so this Own Your Zone framework is a way that people can lean into these habits, these behaviors, these choices, and everything bleeds into everything. If you're not sleeping well, if you're not restoring your body, it's going to impact your mental health and your emotional health. If you're not focusing on your emotional health or your emotional regulation, your nervous system, it's going to impact your sleep. So they all blend together in this synergistic way. And it's probably one reason why we hit it off so well.
Yeah, so it's not just 6 pill bottles that get you there.
That's right.
There's more. So what are the top things as we kind of wind up? What are the top things that jump out at you that help you own your zone? Like, what are those things that you do and that you might, everybody's different, but that you might recommend, hey, these are some things that maybe you might want to be thinking about if you really want to own your zone?
Sure. So on first thing is well, getting to bed as early as possible.
Oh, look at you going for it right out of the chute.
Getting to bed as early as possible and waking up with the sun and getting outside and getting your eyes on the sun. I didn't realize how important that was, but it is huge. And even getting your feet on the grass, like bare feet on the grass. So I think that's a huge concept right there to like help with sleep, help with recovery. Just getting outside. We're spending so much time in the digital age.
Yes.
We got to get outside. So that's a huge one. And then I'm super clean with my diet. You know that. And my nutrition.
He killed me at lunch today.
Moving. And obviously the breath work. So working on the breathing, like all of these things. And you don't have to do it 3 hours a day. You find these little pockets that you practice these habits. And you're going to fall in and out of your zone. And when you do, you give yourself grace and you get back on the horse again.
Yeah. And that's what... Jeff and I have been working together for a year and a half, and I just watching him, you're not always on it, but then there are times you're on it so strong that the carryover for those moments is just outstanding. And I was looking over your brain and
I don't rely too much on my talent. I actually think I got to get more work in.
No,
I'm like, I'm doing a good job. I don't need to do it as much. So I need to work.
No, you're doing it better. And it's cool to see you're actually anti-aging yourself. Hey, this has been awesome. Jeff, thank you so much for being with us, and great hearing your story.
Thank you.
Yep.